Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone has been doing good. I know it's been a minute since I posted a video. It's just been busy outside of the candle business. But by God's grace, I am alive, back, and keep pushing. So today I decided to bring shoot my candle wick testing process. So this is usually how I test my candles to check for performance, safety, and other things. So this is a booklet I use to test my candles. And I don't know why I'm still like a paper and pen person. So I'm still using paper and pen. I kind of like it this way because it just helps me process and it helps me be more focused. But yeah, so this is what I'm testing. So I'm testing for soot, I'm testing for smoke, I'm testing for cold throw, I'm testing for hot throw, testing the flame level or what I see mushrooming, also testing flicker and melt pool, and then safety. All in all, testing for safety to make sure that this is going to be a safe candle where people are going to be burning in their house. So I usually test in 4 hours. I think but in 4 hours you should be able to kind of see how a wick performs. If the wick performs okay in that whole 4 hours, then I take it even further and do like a full blown candle from the beginning for that particular wick. So these are kind of the scents that I'll be testing today. I am testing the cashmere plum scent, the mango and coconut, blood orange and orange blossom, and very vanilla. So I will be testing the Eco 2, and the reason why I'm testing the Eco 2 is because I've from my first test I've come to realize that the Eco 2 work for my scent, so I decided to test them first and kind of go from there. If it does bad, then I start scrambling and looking for a different scent. But if it doesn't, that's great. Hopefully Eco 2 will also work for this scent. So if Eco 2 doesn't work, then I can either wick up or wick down, or depending. I don't think I can wick down from an Eco 2, but I might have to go to a different wick altogether. So my backup for Eco 2 usually is the Premier P35. That's my backup for my Eco 2. So if Eco 2 doesn't work, I can also maybe go to that Premier 35. I also have the LX Wicks. I also have CD Wicks. So hopefully I don't have to go that crazy. But we started off with Eco 2 because it's something that has worked for me. But if you're doing this new, so I say if you're doing this new, I say go to either the website of the place you're buying your wax and wigs and see what they recommend. So I use CandleScience and they recommend Eco 2. That's what I use, but I'll tell you guys a story later on. But I should have started with Eco 2, but anyway. So for my candles, like I said, I start off wickless, and then later on I add, I poke holes into them and then add my wicks. And this just makes it easier to bring out the wick later on if I need to change a different wick. So I start with poking holes and then adding my wicks later. Okay, so as I poke holes into this, try to make sure that your hole reaches all the way down and that your wicks are a little long for these. So some of these I think I cut the wick just a little bit smaller, which later on you will see affects the performance. Because I'm burning this for 4 hours, that wick has to be long enough to burn for 4 hours while still staying within the candle, like inside the candle. So yeah, this first wick that I added, it's good, but I think down the line they got shorter and shorter. So but like I said, this method works out for me just so that I don't have to make like way too many candles to test. Like if this Eco 2 doesn't work, I can still use the same set and not spend so much on making a new candle with a new wick. Now, I do go in later on to do more tests once I've found a wick that performed at least okay within that first 4 hours. Within that, after the first 4 hours has gone. But if it fails within that first 4 hours, then I don't even bother with that wick. I just go to the next one. But if I was not using this method, I will have to make a brand new candle. And in the beginning, that was how I started. And I had way too many candles just hanging around, just because the wick did not burn and it's already been glued to the bottom of my jar. So that process, I really won't do it again. I prefer this method because it just works. So yeah. Then I start lightening it, and once I lighten it up, then I just wait until I'm gonna come back after every hour has gone, just to show you how it's looking, and we will go from there. So far they are burning great. The wick is just about the right height, because sometimes if you cut the wick too low or if it's too high, protruding out, the candle can either burn very high or just extinguish altogether. So just make sure that your wick has the right height coming out of the wax. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next after 1 hour has gone by. Okay, so it has been an hour, and they look okay. I mean, none of them have died yet, and they're burning really well. I'm not seeing like a huge melt pull after 1 hour, which is a good sign. And so they look good. There's not much to see in that first hour, but because I think this wick might just work for this candle, it's not like acting crazy. Usually, if I'm testing like a wick that doesn't belong, it might just, it will either extinguish or you will see like a huge ton of melt pool. Like right here, like the first, all the way to the left, that one in the bottom, it looks like it might have a big melt pool, but not yet. It's too early yet to tell, but it looks like it might just have a big melt pool. But we'll see. So I'm testing the 4 ounce, which is the ones on the bottom, and then the ones on the top are the 8 ounces. So that one I'm touching right now looks like it might just have a big melt pool, but we'll see. So I'm touching the jars to see if they are too hot to touch, and they look like they are not too hot to touch. That one you can't even feel, the second one all the way to the left, you can't even feel the heat on the jar, which is good after an hour. Like it will be weird if after an hour, like the jars are like really, really hot. But they are so, good to touch. I would keep testing this throughout just to see what will happen after 4 hours. But for now, all the way, the ones on the bottom, they are, warm to touch. The two in the middle on the bottom, they are more like cold to touch. So which is good. The ones, at the ends are just a little bit warm, but not like bad. So the ones on top, that one is also warm to touch. Not bad at all. All the ones in the top were warm to touch. But that one I'm touching right now, the wick looks like it's not centralized. This might cause an issue later on, just because, and that's why it's important to have your wick centralized. Because if it's not centered, it might burn too hot on one side, which will mean like one side of the jar will be very, very hot. So just make sure that the wicks are centered. I know I've tried so many different wick centering tools. Yeah, nothing has worked for me, but we'll see if I find something. I use pen and the manual process right now. So this is after 2 hours has gone through. As you can see, the one in the bottom left has died out, and the reason why it died out is just because of the wick was too small. So that's what I'm talking about when you're cutting them out and putting them in. Just make sure that your wicks are deep enough that they wouldn't die out after burning for a certain time. They have to be long enough to last the duration of the testing. And if they don't last, things like this, if they're too short, things like this can happen. So what I'm doing for this one, I'll just bring out the wicks and then put another wick and just let it dry out again and test it again in the next 4 hours. But yeah, as you can see, it's really, really small. It didn't go all the way to the bottom. So when they and it was also maybe burning a little bit. The melt pool must have been a lot for it to wick in the base. So we'll test it again, the same wick, in the next 4 hours. If that doesn't work, then I might test another wick. Maybe Eco 4 might work. So that's the next wick that I'll be testing. Usually I test, even if I find mine, I just test again to see if I can get another backup to the backup. So I'll be also testing Eco 4 just to see how that does. So I'm smoothing out the surface and just adding I think another issue with this one, when I was putting the wick originally, I felt an empty space inside, but I was like, maybe because it wasn't big enough. But just make sure that, which is why even till today I make sure I poke through all my candles, even if they look like they don't need it, because you just don't know when there's a sinkhole inside. So I am just making sure that this new wick that I'm putting is long enough and that it is also centralized. Like I said, if your wicks are not centered, they might cause a problem. Just bend to the other side, make the other side of the jar very hot, which can break, and just other issues might come up. So just make sure that it's long enough. So just looking through, they're looking good. The melt pull is really, really good in some of them. So I'm not too worried if the melt pull is not all the way across the jar, because 2 hours is pretty short for that to happen. But sometimes it happens and you just watch how the candle burns. So some of these, like the one all the way to the left, to the top, the 8-ounce jar, the the melt pull is not as I would want it, but we'll see. I'm looking through. Oh, look at that. So the one at the bottom, as you can see, that one, it's also cut short, which is why I'm struggling with the wick there. It's also cut too short, but I'm hoping that it'll still maybe last the whole 4 hours. We'll see if it makes it through this 4 hours. But yeah, try not to cut it too short. I know sometimes I'm like measuring, like, oh, is this short, is it not short? And sometimes I get it wrong. It's better to cut it over than to cut it under, so that you don't have these issues happening. But again, I will test this again fully after this 4 hours. If I like the performance of the wick, I will test it again, make another batch of candle, test it, burn it through fully, through the jar, to get a better feel, of how it's going to perform when a customer is burning it in their home. So, but this is just the first preliminary steps to get a gauge of which wick is going to perform for these scents. But so far, after 2 hours, it looks good. The jars are still not hot to touch, which is good after 2 hours, which is what I'm looking for. So far it looks good. I like the performance of this wick thus far. See you guys in 3 hours. Well, after 3 hours, at the 3rd hour. Okay, so it has been 3 hours since this candle started burning. It's still that first one. I'm just letting it, resolidify again, and I'll test it again after 4 hours. So far they are looking good. They are looking steady. The flames are not too high. And I'm not seeing a flicker. I like that, the melt pools are not a lot. Still the one all the way to the left, the 8-ounce one. I'm still looking at it. You can see more melt pool on one side than the other. I'm too afraid to kind of tilt it to the middle. maybe it would die out, but we'll see. I'll just let it sit and see how it plays. It plays out that way. But the jar, all the way a little bit on the side that you can see a lot more melt pool is a little bit hotter than the other side, which is to be expected just because the wick is leaned a little bit to the to one side. But so far I'm liking the performance of these. I'm not even seeing any soot in this 4 hours, which is why I like eco candles. They don't soot that much. But I still think it just depends if the size of the jar is right for them. Because if I'm testing like an Eco A, it there's a high chance it's gonna soak just because the jar might be too small for it. But I like the performance. The lights are steady. None of them have died out, and they are not like there's no flicker. The soot is great. I'm moving around so you can see like it's flickering a little bit. I'm moving the table just to it's a very small table, so when I try to touch something or maybe touch the camera, it moves the flames a little bit. But as if it's standing still, there's nothing wrong with it. They all look really, really good, and I'm just very happy. I'm hoping that Eco 2 works with the scent too, because I have a whole lot of Eco 2s, so it would be great if I don't have to buy another wick. But I'm liking this Eco 2 thus far. The jars are also cold to touch, warm to touch. They are not bad at all. The melt pools are not too much, and this place smells amazing, right? But because of so many scents, they're all fighting each other. But it smells really good. I like the cold throw. Before I started, this wax really has a good cold throw. It's the hot throw that throws me, that I worry about sometimes. But the hot throw is coming out good, so which is good for it. So it's been 4 hours. As you can see, we lost another 4-ounce candle in the bottom. So again, I can't stress how important it is not to cut your wicks short when you're testing this. Just make sure that your wick is long enough. And I don't know why. I don't know why after testing this things, you would think after all the testings I do, I would know the height to cut these, but sometimes I just miss the measurement. So it's better off to cut more than you need, and you can trim it off in the top, than to cut shorter, then you can't add anymore. So just make sure that if you're using the same method, that you cut a long enough wick that will make it through your testing process. But I'm gonna test those again separately, just to make sure that they are still performing. But as you can see, the melt pull is pretty good. This is the 4-hour mark. The melt pull is good. It, to me, it might actually be too much, that one that you side, compared to this new one's melt pull, the third one. As you can see, it hasn't made it all the way to the around, across the top, which is not bad, right? Which is kind of what I'm looking for. Because if he makes it all the way and you have this puddle of melt pool, it can either drown your light out, or it's just not gonna burn good. as you go. So don't be scared if your melt pool is not all across. As you can see, that all the way to the left, this one that I'm lifting right now, even though it tilted a little bit to the to one side, the melt pool is still not bad, right? If I extinguish that light and kind of move the wick to the center, it's gonna have a better even melt pool. So all the 8-ounce one looks like they're burning great. The melt pool is not, it's not too bad there. So I like these, but I'm also, oops, thank God I made it through the 4-hour mark, because that one was about to give up on me. But I like this burn, but like I said, I'm going to make a full candle based on it and just test it, how it's gonna burn after 8 hours and all that stuff. And also do a power burn and all that stuff, just to make sure that if I send this home to customers, there's not going to be any safety problem. But performance wise, they are not burning bad at all. So this will be one of the wicks I would test further, just because I didn't notice any big issues based on performance wise. The only issues that came up is just because I cut my wicks too short, and that's not necessarily a performance issue. It's just a me problem. So I will retest those two in the bottom, just to make sure that that what I identified as the problem was really the problem. So I will cut the wicks much longer this time around and retest them later on. So I'll be also testing the Eco 4 just to see how it burns. Eco 4 might just be too big for it. If the Eco 2 is burning like this, it might be too big for it. But I like to just wake up just to see how how that will affect the performance. And I'm also going to test the Premier 35 and see, because that's normally my backup for my other Eco Wicks, Eco 2, and see if also that would work as a backup for this one. If not, I might just wake up. I think 45 is right after that. So but so far they lasted well. They did good. The jars are they're not hot to touch after the first 4 hours. Usually if you're burning this again, you just check to see if this was a full-on candle. You test to see if there's if you need to trim the wick or anything like that. But I am not seeing a high flame. They just look good and they look smooth. Oops, that one is, I think it's because I'm shaking the table. Okay, yeah, so they look good. Let me know if what process, how do you guys test your candles, and how do they perform? Do you use this method? Is there something that you do differently that you want to share that you think might help me? Because I'm still new to fairly some of this, and hey, I don't shy away from tips and tricks that other people that have tried this for 7 years, 10 years down the line, 5 years. So yeah, so just let me know. So far this is something that works for me, and even when I pull a plain, when I pull a candle from my stocks that I have, and test them again 2 months down the line, I don't have any performance issue. So this has been working for me. But if there's any other method that kind of saves cost because fragrances are a little bit on the expensive end, but yeah, let me know, and share in the comment section below. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.